Well, it is time for some sushi as we get ready to go racing for FIA Formula 2. But when we arrive at this place, there is a lot of time for a lot of fun off the track, and it is just one of those venues. Welcome to Fuji Speedway for the single greatest one-make championship on the planet, as we get ready to go for FIA Formula 2 around this circuit, and we should be in for a very, very interesting weekend of racing. Turn number 1 can always be very close, as we have seen as well when Formula 1 raced here. Lots of battling through the opening few corners of the circuit. And then this is a circuit where it is always close when it comes to the middle part of the lap, and then even at the end of the lap. It is all action stuff around this place. And we also do get lots of drivers running wide through the final corner as they try extract everything they can before the lap comes to a close. And that is exactly what the drivers in the field today face as well. These are live pictures from Fuji Speedway with 26 minutes on the clock to go. Welcome to Japan as Formula 2 gets going at Japan for the first time this season. We of course did have a race in Japan earlier for Formula 1 this season, but this is the first time for Formula 2 as well. We, after this, of course, are going to have a trip to America. We're going to have Chicago, we're going to have we're going to have Chicago, I should say. We are not going to USA for FIA Formula 2. I was thinking about Formula 1 because I have some exciting news, which I think it's perfect to start the broadcast with. That for the remainder of this season, Formula 1 is going to get broadcasted. It is great to hear, it is great to see that we're going to get Formula 1 action as well. But it does mean that next season, unfortunately, there will not be a Formula 1 broadcast as it stands. Formula 2, of course, will continue to get broadcasted, I am happy to say. But it means that Formula 1, at least for the rest of this season, is going to get broadcasted as Sir Harrison McLaren tries to take the championship in that. But talking about the championship, this could be a round where we see that decided in this championship. Formula 2 possibly staring at a two-time champion by the end of this weekend, and his name is Jayden. He took a brilliant victory last time out, 2 victories last time out as well in the sprint, in the feature. Fantastic stuff by him. But if everything goes to plan, then he could be the champion by the end of this weekend. He can't win it today. He can't win it in the sprint. It has to be in the feature race. But he wants to get he wants to get every point he can. So it all starts today, really, for Jayden. If he wants to get this championship wrapped up, he needs an advantage of over 117 points as well before he heads into the final 3 rounds. Or, of course, the battle will go on to the next round when we head to Chicago for FIA Formula 2. Really excited to see cars blasting. Cars absolutely blasting through that part of the circuit. So that is going to be quite a lot of fun as well. Radios were a success last time. I'm happy to say that we are continuing that on for this weekend's action as well for Formula 2 and of course Formula 1 as well, when they go racing very, very soon next week as well with us. And I'm just going to quickly, as a bit of a moment for Pal as he gathers the car together, we do ask as well for the drivers in the VC, if they aren't already on mute on Discord, to do that, because we have no other way of identifying whether they are trying to say a radio or not. So we'll wait and see whether that does happen. So It is, of course, some people have a button to mute it outside of Discord, but we specifically need it on Discord, just to make sure that we are able to identify whether they are doing a radio or not. So, by the looks of things, we are all up and running for this weekend's Formula 2 action, and we are making our way up towards the line. So it's Jayden with a 48.782, Harrison with a 49.484, and he had the fastest first sector. But it is close between Harrison and Jayden at the moment, up to P3, or P4, sorry I should say, for Logo. So Logo finds the lap for P4, here he is in the framer, all over that curb, which, as the thumbnail would show you, it can be all action, it can be all over the curbs, it can be all over the road, and it can be your car flying for a moment as well. And that was a very bumpy ride into the pit lane. Here we go with Pal, who has not had the easiest week, as his father is in hospital. We wish speedy recovery to him as well. And we now take a look out there on the circuit to Pal's teammate Note, as he makes his way through as well. So the Trident driver making his way through. The driver who currently sits in third position, Jayden, now with a lap of a 48.564, as he tries to be the champion driver by the end of today. But right now he finds himself on the circuit with a spin. So the yellow flags are going to be waving as he tries to get it back going. He'll try to get it rotated around. And there we go, he'll try to get back inside the contest for this. So the action for Formula 2 continues here around Suzuka as Jayden rotates the car, makes his way through, and is about to come up towards the line as well, slightly wide, which we mentioned in the opener of this broadcast, that we can be seeing quite a lot of that. And Jayden still hasn't muted his mic on Discord as well, as we see an improvement there, an improvement for Note, who moves up to second position in the Trident. So Note up to second place, brilliant stuff by him. And Note now finds himself with the fastest first sector. A driver who, I mean, they did say to keep an eye on this weekend. A driver who is still hopeful for the championship. Is still incredibly hopeful that this is going to be his championship. So he is absolutely going to find himself contending for this. As up towards the line goes Note. It was an invalidation through the last sector. Without the invalidation, though, it would have been good enough for P1. Pal finds the lap for P3, and we're only 10 minutes into this session, but it is already all action for the drivers in this field. So a great lap from Pal to find his way up there, as Pal finds the time. And we take a look. An improvement in the second sector once again. Notes improving in the second sector as well. So, up towards the line. First of all, we're going to go with Pal, the Trident man, going for the line. Can he find an improvement? Pal! To the front of the field. A 48.282. We look to his teammate, trying to respond and trying to take it away as well. As Note came over the line. It was an invalidation again in the last sector. And again, it would have been a lap that would have put him near Jayden, who is also going quick as the wall in the second sector. Well, last week we weren't able to catch the exciting bit of the session. Today we can, over the line, and Jayden's invalidated in the last sector as well. The last sector causing multiple issues for the drivers in the field. As we take a look now at Harrison, who is trying to be the vice champion of this season, as are about 3 drivers. You've got Note, you've got Harrison, and you've got Pal as an outside contender as well, but he could find himself only 25 points behind. We've seen much bigger swings in this season, so Pal could find himself as a contender as well, so keep an eye on him as well in the Trident. So Pal could be getting second in the championship if he really gets on with it as well in these last few rounds of this season. As Jayden goes quickest of all, the ART driver found the lap time to go quickest of all. Here he is. So he went to P1 on the board as he makes his way through, following him very closely through these complexes of corners. Always very interesting. Couple of corners this always is, as the field continues to attack. Here we go then, with Logo, and of course Harrison has his birthday tomorrow, of course, and he'll still be racing with us, and he'll of course still be hoping to get himself up there at the front. Would be nice to see him win on his birthday, but without Jayden's planned for his weekend to go, never heard him more confident. Usually in this championship, at sometimes you would think, well, everyone knows that he's quickest, everyone knows he's going to win both races, but even he would say, oh well, no, it's going to be a challenge, I don't know, I might not win. That was earlier in the season. That was his attitude back then. Right now it's, well, I'm getting the 2 points today, I'm getting the 11 points tomorrow, I'm getting the 26 on Sunday, and I'm wrapping up this championship this weekend. I do not want to wait till Chicago. And an improvement in the third sector for the man currently at the front, but only by 0.2 of a second. And when I say only, it is exactly 0.2 of a second, let me just add, between himself and Powell. Harrison finds himself in P3, and there it is really game on in this session by the looks of things. So maybe Jayden's pace that he was promising us, maybe might be even more competitive than that. Powell said he was going to go all action today to try to take pole position, and well, he finds himself with a chance. All he needs right now is exactly 0.2 to get him to a lap that is equal with Jayden up towards the line. It wasn't an improvement this time around for the British driver. Jayden has changed nationality, by the way. He is now Polish, so that'll be the nationality that you will be. That'll be the anthem you will be hearing later on if he does win in this weekend, as Powell massively over the curb, which, as you would have heard, threw me off completely, as every time we see a driver go over that curb, it is always definitely one of those moments where, can they recover it? You don't want to get it stuck, do you? Well, that would cause a red flag in this part of the session, as they need to push their car a bit, and probably you're going to get stuck there for a while. Of course, so those curbs are pretty violent at this, especially around this circuit when they are going at the when they are driving at the limit. But really exciting though. As a reminder to everyone, Formula 1 is getting a broadcast from next week onwards for the remainder of this season, so you'll be getting to witness Sir Harrison McLaren's greatness in Formula 1, Powell challenging in a slower car and sometimes coming out on top, everyone else outside contenders, but interesting battles everywhere in the field. You had Note versus Bella, I heard was brilliant, and now I can even see it from next week onwards as well. So I've heard there's been some brilliant battles in F1, and Powell's been amazing at starts, which you don't need Formula 1 to show you that. Formula 2 has already shown you that multiple times anyway, as there was no improvements for the laps. There was an improvement in the third sector for Jayden, there was an improvement in the first sector for Powell, but it did not change up the order because the other two sectors were a little bit slow, so they still find themselves in the same order. Birthday boy for tomorrow, Harrison's in P3, and then you find yourself with Note, who's in 4th, and Logo finds himself in 5th. Here he is, the Kramer man, as we make our way through as well. So Jayden still not putting his radio on mute on the Discord for some reason as well. It's been about more than 15 minutes of this session, well, more than half of this session has gone by, and we still don't have the mute button on his name. So hopefully that changes. There we go. There we go. We've got that all sorted as well. So now, as soon as I look over, I don't suddenly notice that we've had, well, I don't suddenly notice that a driver wants already when they really don't. Okay, extending his advantage by thousandths at the front is Jayden. He's been able to find an improvement by a couple of thousandths of a second, but every thousandth will be helpful when you have got Powell chasing you down. Not only Powell, Harrison's a few tenths away as well, but that was only a minimal gain. That was only a slender margin improvement by Jayden, who is going to be trying to get more and more victories as he retires from Formula 2 at the end of this year. This is his final season. Next year it will be anyone's game. Well, as I mentioned, we have a fight for second in the championship. Few things to remember. Harrison, note, they've both had their moments this season of standing on the top step. They've both had moments where they've been facing the wrong way in the gravel trap. They've all had that, and Powell, remember, missed a couple of races at the start of the season. He could have well been in that battle, if not ahead. So next year's Formula 2 Championship is going to be absolutely extraordinary by the looks of things, which is kind of what everyone expected in Formula 1, because 2013 cars, from what the drivers have been saying, are similar to 2010, but of course Jayden did have the advantage in 2010. So everyone was excited about, oh, look at this, what a title fight we're going to have, it will be so close, everyone will be so evenly matched. And then Jayden's like, okay, well, I'm racing, I want to get that world championship, I want to win my first world championship. All very quickly. All of that changing. Well, Jayden improved his time by 1,000th of a second. 1 millisecond is the improvement that Jayden found. It is very interesting to see how the drivers are trying to find time around this short configuration of racetrack. Logo is on a good lap as well. An improvement in the first and second sector. It is still tenths down on the best sector that Jayden's managed as well. Let's see though. Logo up towards the line. What is he going to be able to find? And he lost the time in the third sector. So he lost it in the third sector, unfortunately for him. But you take a look at Powell, the British driver. Oh, that's close between himself and Jayden on the circuit. As Powell loses the rear momentarily, Jayden just goes through and continues pushing. And as we go into the pit lane, and into the pit lane goes Powell and Jayden. They're both together, and they're coming. Their tyres, they of course jump out, jump back in. Tyre life goes back to 100, and they can push on. It's basically what we'd call fresh rubber. So they'll continue on as normal. 10 minutes to go then. We are ticking through this FIA Formula 2 qualifying session very, very quickly. And we find ourselves with, right now at least, I think we could see some improvements now with drivers' tyre life back at 100, at least with Jayden and Powell. So they're both going to duel it out for pole. But we are going to have, honestly, Jayden said he was going to dominate this weekend, and how he's not going to go easy on the field. Honestly, tomorrow might be his hardest sprint race, even if we finish in this order. Tomorrow might be his hardest sprint race ever to try overtake. And he says he was not going to go easy on the field. What a race we could have tomorrow. And, well, I have some day tomorrow as well. I'm commentating this, and then I'm commentating on a Fracas race 1, which possibly could be wet from how the weekend's gone so far at Monza. So, yeah, I've got some day tomorrow. If PRL also delivers. Fracas at Monza is always going to deliver, whether it be dry or wet. It's always all action, so, yeah. And then, of course, you have F1 qualifying, which lots of these drivers do like getting involved in the chat when that's going on, or the F1 race. Whether that is trying to violate drivers, whether that's talking about bottling, whatever it might be, these drivers love getting involved. And, well, I'll be honest, it is fun reading back after the F1 races finish. It is fun reading back. what everyone made of it, what everyone thought of certain things. Not everything I agree with, I think it is fair to say, but some questionable takes in there, but let's just say it is always a fun read. But of course you've got F1 on Twitter for lots of interesting takes. Yeah, the takes cannot be as bad then as some of the Twitter takes we have that I have to go through. So that's enough rambling about real life Formula 1, but the session taking a little bit of a toll. So a bit of a lull right now out there on the circuit as we wait for something to take place. "26 laps set by Powell in this session." Well, honestly, the corner cuts were made less stricter earlier on, when a driver rightfully brought it up about a week ago, which was good. Well, it probably wouldn't have been amended if it was brought up like now. So that is one change I'm sure all the drivers are happy with, especially the ones who love getting corner cuts every single race and love getting penalties that come with it. Here we go. Keep an eye on Pal. It's an improvement in the second sector. He's fighting away with the car on the exit. 7 minutes to go on the clock. Pal going for the line, looking for an improvement. He can't find it. He can't find an improvement. No, it improved this time last time around. And as it stands, you've got our top 4 all under a second of each other. Well, talk about Jayden domination. It doesn't appear to be that way. The field is closer than we thought. Everyone is really bringing their A game this weekend in Formula 2. Logo still has a few tenths to find though. Really a second, to be fair, to make sure that everyone in this qualifying session is under a second of each other. What a close Formula 2 session. It might not be the most timing page changing session, but it is one that's close, and that's what gives us hope for good races tomorrow. Still no improvement for the British driver Powell as he makes his way through. And we will, well, we're basically now waiting for the end of the session to see if anyone can improve. Jayden's invalidated this lap, Powell's invalidated this lap. We'll look to Harrison to see if he can produce something spectacular. Nope. He has invalidated. Logo, Notes just completed a lap. Logo's invalidated in the first sector. And then on this one, nothing seems to be happening. Okay, well, let's get a radio in there. Let's hear from the man currently sitting in P2.
Box. New tyres, going for it. Go for it.
Into the pit lane as well. You can hear as well, and you can see. Into the pit lane comes Pal as he tries to have a tyre change and go all action at the end. He knows that he's a few tenths away from pole and he wants to cut down that margin. He wants pole position. And how special would that be? All the way to the wall, hitting the wall for Logo. That's how much time he's trying to find out of that Dallara built car there as well. Maybe a bit too much, because he's off the road as well. He takes the easy approach. He just jumps out of his car, jumps back in on the circuit, creating an extra pit lane around this facility, which I wasn't sure existed. So, well, we do get that on the starting grids. Most races for Formula 2, we get that on the starting grids, where some extra pit lanes are created on the starting grids. Okay, well, let's look to Jayden. Maybe we got a little bit too hopeful of how close it will be this weekend, because he's improving in the first sector. It's not the fastest first sector. Someone's managed better. That's all I'm gonna say. Logo's managed a very good first sector. That is what I can say. Jayden's invalidated. Okay, never mind. It is still game on. Let's look to Logo. He's doing very well out there to the first sector, it appears. So is he really going to get everyone inside 1 second of each other? That is the hope. That is the question that we await to be answered. Second sector, it's a 14.745 full logo as he comes up towards the line. No, he's missed out on an improvement by around 0.3 of a second there, and that was on his own time. There's still time to be found with that. As they rotate the car through. 3 minutes on the clock to go. Well, it's been an interesting session where everyone found the improvement and then, well, it seems like no one else can find an improvement now, and off the road as Harrison creates another extra pit lane. Some of these drivers enjoying themselves, not trying to waste basically an in lap, then some seconds in the pit lane, then an out lap, and then pushing. Well, they've only got 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to go. They've got to get on with it. They've seriously got to get on with it, and they may not go to this man as Powell goes for pole position. Harrison goes for second, and if he can find an extraordinary lap, he could go for pole as well. Who knows? Jayden is quickest of all in the second sector. That is the fastest second sector we have seen so far this weekend. As we get our first on-track running going. Here is the man trying to extend his advantage at the front of the field. Jayden going for the line. Can Jayden find the improvement? He's invalidated in the last sector, meaning that that improvement will not come. Look further back. Look to the trident of Powell. 13.753, an improvement in the second sector as he's about to now go for the line. Can Powell bring an extraordinary final sector and go to pole over the line? No, it's an 18.264 in the last sector. It's a 48.699 overall, so that's a few tenths off. Laps are ticking around this circuit. They've got to go all action. They've got to go all push. Who is going to be able to find the improvement? Championship hopeful Note finds himself right now in 4th position. That's not what he wanted. Jayden with an improvement at the end. With an improvement that no one could have expected. Not an improvement in the first sector. Not an improvement in the second sector or the third sector, but still a 47.945. That's a marginal improvement though. If Powell can find an extraordinary lap, he could still take it away. We have got 40 seconds on the clock to go. Absolutely extraordinary stuff here for FIA Formula 2 as the field tries to take it away from Jayden, who just about found that small improvement. It's an invalidation for Powell. It's an invalidation for Harrison, and Powell's got to be cutting every single corner to try and get up towards the line as soon as possible. Time is running out. 15 seconds on the clock to go. 13 seconds. Will he be able to make it? 10, 9, 8, 7. Rotating the car. Trying to get on the power. 4, 3, 2, 1. And he knows he won't be able to make it. He comes into the pit lane. I think Harrison might have begun though. Another flying lap, yep. So Harrison, it seems like, was able to start though. So we were focusing on Powell as he was the closest contender. So Harrison still has the chance to take second place away, so no one can get eager excited yet. I mean, if he can find the best lap of his life, maybe pole, who knows. This is incredible. Note also pushing on with an average first, average second. Same can be said for Harrison. No one's lighting up the timing sectors. No one is lighting up those timing sectors at the moment. It appears like that it's going to be Jayden and Powell sharing the front row. Harrison invalidates at the end. Note finds an improvement, and Note nearly took away P3. He misses out by a couple of hundredths of a second as well, or thousandths really. He misses out by. So Note has to settle for 4th, but what a close qualifying session, what a close grid it's been. And it is going to be Jayden who has put it on pole and taken the 2 points as he tries to take the championship this weekend. Well, it's going to be fun interviewing some of our drivers. We'll wait for Harrison to get here. And we'll head over to the second floor then. And try to get an interview with him as well. And I don't know why Jayden's celebrating in chat when a radio function exists. Slightly unsure of that, but we will just let him be, and I guess hear him right now in this session as we get ready to go up to the second floor. That's where we are heading to. We'll get to hear from Harrison, Pal, and Jayden. So we'll wait for them to arrive on the second floor. There we go. Lovely second floor now actually used. I'll try to decorate it a bit more. Especially now F1's going to be getting some broadcasting down here. Oh yeah. Well, I just thought of that we were meant to introduce the PRL studio for F1 next season. And F2 as well. But is it really... I don't know if we'll be able to get it ready for next week basically. So... maybe we'll just need to decorate this and use this as the TV compound for PRL. Of course, for Formula 1, there's longer broadcast, there's longer build-up, there's all sorts as well. As we get one of our drivers arriving, he'll wait there. He'll stand there and basically wait for Harrison and Jayden to arrive. And then we'll speak with Harrison as we, of course, do this in the order. Starting with third, go to second, go to... our pole sitter for the feature race. Remember, the grid will be reversed, meaning that Logo will start on pole, Note will start second, Harrison will start third, Power will start fourth, and Jayden will start in fifth. Anyone else who attends who wasn't here today will start in last. So, yeah, seems like getting the lift. Harrison and Jayden are incredibly delayed with it, so it's just meaning that we have to wait a little bit extra, as we'll see if we can try catch where they are, whether they are arriving. So we still got Harrison on the circuit, so he's got some time till he arrives. And then we've also got Jayden as well, who we are waiting for then. And an interesting qualifying session though for Formula 2, with now basically everyone here heading to Houghton in a moment, soon. With that beginning as they complete their Halloween week and event as well, and we will wait and see. Okay, I think we're gonna get an interview with Pal first then, seeing as we have third place finisher in his car still on the circuit. He ain't coming for a while. No sign of our pole sitter. So let's actually speak to someone who's actually got here on time. Hello, Pal. Second place, hello. Close to pole. It seems like you're going to be in the fight all the way through this weekend.
Yeah, well, gave him my all. I mean, the tyre wear around here is awful, but, you know, we live with it. Obviously, this week's not been the best, so I'm just trying to absolutely focus everything on this weekend instead of what's going on outside. I thank everyone who's given best wishes. So, yeah, but, yeah, I gave it all. That's all I could do today.
Okay, did you think you had more in the car to possibly take pole position today from Jayden?
No, well, every 2 laps my car's just started sliding, so I had to pick quite a lot. But tomorrow, I'm normally about second behind Jayden in quali, and then I normally outdo him at like the start of races, and then he outdoes me at the end. It's only 0.2, so, you know, or 0.4, I don't know, haven't seen the time page yet. It's less than a second, that's all I know. So I can just think, tomorrow, maybe I'm better. I've got to get past everyone. There'll be a bit of carnage into turn one, I think, with the bumps. But, you know, we've got to work it out tomorrow. That's all I could do.
From fourth on the grid tomorrow, do you think you could lead into turn one?
I don't think lead. I think lead's a bit of a stretch. But third, second, it's on the cards. I just need to, you know, find pace into turn one. Need to get past a couple of drivers. And yeah, tried it in front of me on the grid in P2. We could work together. Try and obviously Prey was also on the same row, or not row, but column. So they're gonna work together, try and block me. We've got to try and block them, and that's all we could do.
Absolutely, as the camera brilliantly makes his way through the pit areas as well, and heads now back to us up here. So thank you very much, pal. We'll still wait for Harrison and Jayden, I should say, as we now get an angle of pal walking through the lift. Yeah, let's carry the camera through the lift as well, as we watch him make his way through, and then we'll wait, however, for Jayden and Harrison to still arrive, as we lose track of where he is. There we go. Onto the side. Okay, we momentarily had a look at Jayden. He was basically standing on top of his car, so enjoying his image moments, it appeared like, out there. And I guess we'll take a look, as we've also got the weighbridge. Not that it's properly functioning, but we have that here this weekend. And I guess we'll run all the way back up. Here is. So we will momentarily. So we still have Harrison out there on the circuit. So unsure where some of our drivers have disappeared to today on this broadcast, knowing as the top 3 have interviews. So we'll give it another minute or two, wait for our drivers to arrive. I think it probably will be better to actually send a message tonight about interviews for the top 3, because it seems like everyone likes to go AFK thinking they have no other duties after the race finishes, especially Jayden. He wins a lot, but he's always goes AFK after the race finishes. So if he can just quickly get the interview done, and then he can go AFK for as long as he wants, that would be great. Don't usually have that issue with Harrison though. Just it seems like today as well. But pal, on time with his interviews as usual. So by the looks of it, P3 man still on the circuit. You have our pole sitter still standing on the top of his car. But the question is, will he be able to take the championship? He can't win it tomorrow, but he can definitely take a step forward and try increase his points, allowing him to do it on feature race day on Sunday. So we won't get to speak to our pole sitter or third. We have spoken with Pal, who is going to be a great contender this weekend at the front of the field. We'll see you tomorrow for the sprint race when FIA Formula 2 returns.